Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you with an example for how we're going to solve these by using the graphing calculator. So here's the example we will work through. We're going to solve x minus 1 over 6 is equal to x over 4. Alright, so first thing I do is push the button on the calculator that has y equals. It's up in the top left corner. Okay? Then you have several y's in there where you can put in equations. You're going to use two different equations. The first one, you're going to use one side of the equal sign, and the second one, you'll use the other side of the equal sign. So you're going to do x minus 1 divided by 6, and when you hit the divided by button, it actually makes a slash instead of a division symbol. Notice how I put the numerator in parentheses. Yes, you do need to do that. Numerator in parentheses so that that's a group before it's divided by 6. Your calculator will do it wrong if you don't put the parentheses there. The second part of the equation is the other side of the equal sign. So this one will be typed in x divided by 4. But again, it'll put a slash instead of that division symbol. Okay? After you've gone that far, so I'm going to just write through all the directions, and I'll put this back up later and you can copy it down, or actually I'm going to post this video on YouTube probably anyway, so then you can get to it. So the next step is, so if I'm going too fast, don't worry, you'll have a chance to catch up. Next step is to go to the window, so the button that says window on it. Go to the window and make sure it's set correctly. Now, what correctly is depends on the problem you're doing. And you might not even know what it is until you graph it at least once and check it, okay? So if I were you, I would start with a standard window that starts at a lowest number of negative 10 and stops at a highest number of positive 10. And a lowest number y value of negative 10 and a highest number y value of positive 10. This scale, x scale and y scale, what those mean is it adjusts how many marks it puts across your screen so you can see where the little tick marks are. This means that there will be one for every unit. Okay? Alright. Now, sometimes people will bring me calculators and say, this isn't graphing, and I'll look at the window, and they'll have a positive 10 here and here. Why is that not going to work? Will it have an error if you have the same number in the minimum and the maximum? There's no range for it to even show you, right? You have to have a range of numbers in order for the calculator to work. And if you start and stop at the same number, there's nothing to show. Okay, after you've done that, you're then going to hit the graph button and you should be able to see the graph. Okay, why don't we go that far together with a graphing calculator? Yes, Jonathan?
I copied everything he said and it says that you can.
Okay, can you guys stop and just go through this problem with me, please? Alright, so I'm going to go to y equals, so y equals, these are different because this was a different problem I was doing. And we're going to type in parenthesis x minus 1. Now make sure you use the minus and not the negative. That's one problem that someone in my last class had. Divided by 6. Then we're going to go down to the next one and type that one in as x divided by 4. I'm going to find a better way to it's not showing up very well. I think I just need that middle light off maybe. It was working in my last class. Make it better or worse? Oh, there we go. Thanks, Chris. Okay. So there it is typed in. So now I'm going to go to the window. Right now my window is set to -5 to 5, and actually that's because we discovered with this problem that allows us to zoom in a little more and see it a little better. So I know I told you to start with, okay, now it's not any better. So I know I told you to start with -10 to 10. No, just leave it off, I'm adjusting. Okay, yeah, it's overexposing everything else. Okay, so now we have, yeah, so if you'd rather just do -5 to 5, you can, because that will be easier to see it in the long run. But if you still have yours at -10 to 10, it's fine, it'll still work. But mine will just look zoomed in a little more. Okay, now I hit the graph button, and I should have 2 lines. And you can barely see that they are kind of crossing over each other here in the middle. That's where your solution is where they cross. Okay? There are 2 lines. Yeah, that's what we did them separately. There's 2 lines and there's a point where they cross. Okay? We need to figure out where that point is that they cross. So now we're going to go back to the instructions step by step here for a minute. Okay? To figure out where they cross, so to find where the lines cross, we hit the second button, and then we hit the trace button, so we're getting the menu called Calculate. And we want to choose item 5 that says Intersect. Okay? Then we basically hit enter 3 times. After you've gotten back to the graph, you hit enter 3 times. And at the bottom of this screen, it will give you an X equals with a number and a Y equals with a number. The X equals is going to be the solution. Okay, and the Y value, you just ignore it. You don't need it. Okay, so let's go through that process together. So on my graph, I'm going to go second trace. I'm going to go through the same process. You can see the notes again in a second. Okay, so I go second trace. Listen to me. If you can't see it, at least listen and do it with me on your calculator. Here, Mr. Johnson will come help you. Second trace. Esme? Are you typing it in? Second trace. Intersect, so you can either go arrow down to number 5 or you can actually just hit a number 5. Then it asks you some questions down here at the bottom. You're just going to hit enter 3 times. And it will jump right to the point where they intersect. Apparently it's down here, not up there. Sorry, I couldn't see it very well. So the intersection point, it says, is at -2 and -0.5. But do we care where the Y value is? No, we just want to know where the X value is. So even though it has the -0.5, we don't need that one. What's our final answer to this problem? X equals -2. Do we have to put it in our equation and check it like we have done in the past with other problems? No, because the calculator shows that that's where they intersect, so that's going to be the correct answer. Sometimes there's more than one answer, more than one place where they intersect. And when that happens, you just have to make sure that before you start hitting enter 3 times, you have to move your cursor close to the point that you're trying to find. So then after you find one of the points, then you do the whole process again to find the other point, but you have to move the cursor with your arrow keys first to get it closer to that other point. Okay? So right now what I want you all to do is try problem 5 on the back of your worksheet. So it's this one right here.
Do it. Where is it at?
Same thing we just did for the other one.